Hello everyone and welcome to my OpenTTD tutorial / let's play. In the last episode I've promised to look on the signals. Particularly, why are there path signals here, for example, or why do we use pre-signals here, or maybe even, but I think that's it. I don't think there's another instance of signals. So let's dive straight into that. I will upload this save file later and you will be able to download it. So for those who download it, I'm gonna build it here in the southeastern corner of the map. I'm just gonna get rid of the river here, so we have a nice surface to work at. And let's dive straight into it. So, signals. The most basic type of signal, for now, please ignore these upper signals. I mean, these signals are just for atmosphere and, I don't know, immersion into the game. You can set these to build after a particular, here. If you write signal in the settings, there's the automatically build semaphores before, and until then you will build these things. I don't know what they are called in English. Signal type by default, signal type to build by default, it's always good to set this one to block signals, and we want to signal through all of those types. Right, so let's begin by each type. The first one, the most simple, is a block signal. For example, if you have a railway, I mean, I can show it just on one rail. If you have railway and you send the train on it, oh, forgot to build it electric, oh, never mind. Every time a train gets into the gap between these two signals, the signal starting the gap will turn red. I mean, this is the most simple thing, you probably know this. As soon as it gets past the exit signal of the gap, for example here, if it gets past this signal on this tile, this signal will turn green, which it did. So this is the most simple thing, there's nothing really anything else to say about that. I think you won't have a problem understanding this at all. Right, so second signal type, I'm gonna... I think we can dive into pre-signals. So, with pre-signals, unfortunately I can't have this menu open, but pre-signals were a huge addition to the game. To be fair, I don't really use them in a way some experts do. You can make things like, I don't know, sorting trains by length, or you can do various stuff like giving priorities to one of 4 rails and whatnot. But the most basic use of pre-signals that was in the game before this was, for example, at stations. For example, if you had a station like this, or entrance to station, then you would have 3 signal or pre-signal types. The first, I'm gonna go in the wrong order from the from the lowest priority. So the lowest priority pre-signal is the exit signal, and don't confuse this with entrance or entries and exits to stations. What this does is it will create area on the track where the exit of this area is the entry to the station. I know this might sound confusing, but stick with me, it will get better. So, you would usually use exit signals right in front of the station. Because if you imagine a train has to go through all of this stuff, it basically ends, the whole area ends with the station. So there are the exit free signals. Then there's the entry signal, which again, don't confuse this with entries and exits to stations. The entry signal, pre-signal is used before like anything major happens on the track. So for example, there are two splits, right? Here's the first one, and there's another one. Sorry, these two trees. So like if you want to, I don't really want to say priorities, but you would usually use the entry signal right here, in front of the whole area. The entry pre-signal is a yellow horizontal bar. You can also cycle through normal block signals by control clicking them. This will make it the entry signal, this will make it the exit one, and then all of the others. And what this does, the entry signal, is that any pre-signal of lower, I'd say, priority that's red behind it will make it red as well. But that only goes if you have like one pre-signal here. If you have more of them, this yellow block will only go red if all of these are red. So it was used in stations, well, for building stations like this, because then if you just use normal block signals, all the trains, they would just go here, choose one of those two routes, choose one of these platforms, and then if there were 6 trains in the station, the trains would just wait at this signal until the platform is free. But that's the problem, because the train might have been waiting on this platform, but another train may have left this platform, and the train would be waiting there just uselessly. So this was added to TTD to deal with that, and yeah, it basically, if all of these are red, then this one's red as well, and it makes the trains wait here instead of here at the signals. So that means if one train leaves, then the train can go in and it will go to the free platform. So those are like the two most important, and there's also the combo signal. This acts both as an entry and exit signal, as you can read in the description. However, it's kinda, I don't like that definition. Basically what combo signal does is, it's like, I mean, it's somewhere in between, but it like connects these two things together and makes it work perfectly. For example, here you might want to make this a bit bigger, right? So we're gonna delete this pre-signal and we are gonna make the entry signal here. Right, now what you can do with the combo signal is you can put it right before this division or another split. What this does, this sense, it acts as an entry signal, as if we didn't have like these two signals here. What this does, if I mean there are 3 like rails connected, so if all of those 3 lights go red, this one will go red, and then this doesn't go red because there are 3 rails left, right? So it doesn't go red, the entry one, and yeah, and it makes the trains go like on the other track. I can show you in practice because I think it will make much more sense. It's kinda hard to explain this. Right, I'm gonna build 3 trains for now and see how those signals react. Right, so first train is in the station. This signal did go red. Unfortunately, this train wanted to go to the right, so let's build more trains. Hopefully it won't turn, and it will work now. So when all of these three turn red, this will turn red. Which is awesome, because it allows you to split trains. Sorry for the honking noise these trains make. If we make another 3 trains, send them all, this will make the train go past this signal as it was green, because there's still green light. So it will change to this track. Here it can see there's only 2 tracks left where it can go. So changes track, it doesn't go here, so it doesn't have to wait here. Right, now as soon as the train is in the station, this will turn green again. And right now you can see all of these lights are red. The whole station is filled, so the last train waits in front of the whole division. So for example, if this train goes to depot and the platform will be free, this train will go to that platform. So that's the use of pre-signals. Nowadays they are used for example, for something I used here. What was it? Yeah, we used it here. We put the entry pre-signal here, so when any other pre-signal behind that is red, this will turn red. But the thing is, if you put a two-way pre-signals, it will show red in both ways. So there's the entry one. So as soon as and there are those two are the lower priority ones. So as soon as the train goes to the white one, this one combo signal, which we used here, turns red, and it will make this block red as well. So if there's any train going on the main track, and if there's any train going on the main track, I was hoping this one would go straight. If there's any train going on the main track and it gets to this signal, this will turn red. Because of that, this will turn red, and then this will turn red because these two are red as well. I think we will be able to see it now. Yeah, we can. So the train got here, turned red. Yeah, and the thing is, you can set priorities with this, because if there's any if there was train going at the same speed, it would be forced to wait because this train has priority over the other one. So that's a pretty neat thing you can do with the pre-signals. The problem here is that it's all nice, but later another type of signal was added. Let me just here. And I don't want all of these to crash. If you have pre-signals selected like I do. Right, so this was the original use of pre-signals. Later some amazing designs were invented, like you can use various things to do with that. Nowadays they aren't used for stations, they are used for the more complicated stuff that to be honest, I can't even build. I know just some of the basics, but nowadays all of this we've built. Wait, let me build it next to it. Right, so we are building a station, doesn't matter how many platforms, so let's do 3. We can do another 2, let's do better. So for example, now if you have the platform, what would you do originally? Make the exit signals here, put the combo signal somewhere between the main signal and the division, and then put the main entry signal here. So if all of these platforms were filled, these two would show red and the trains would be waiting here. Nowadays this isn't used because there were path signals added. Basically what this does, it's almost the same as the block signal, but it goes, from what I gathered, it goes like the other way. What I mean by that is when you put a block signal here, if the train is in the gap, this one will show red, this one will show red as well, until it gets out of the gap. What the path signal does is it will show red by default, and when a train gets close to it, it will tell the signal where it wants to go, and the signal will either flash green to let it through, or it will show red to wait here. So you don't, nowadays you don't have to build all of this like signals, and if you had a really big station with also like priority stuff mixed in between that, it was very big, like huge. So nowadays this is fixed. Let me show you. Nowadays all you really need to do is build that one signal in front of the whole split, and it will work. So let's see. I turn green because there are no trains in the station at all. Let me just destroy these trees as well so you can see it. Right, and the great thing about this is that the trains choose their own route, so they know if there's a train waiting, they just won't go there. As you can see, we got all of the platforms filled, and this won't turn green for this train because it will, it will have to wait here. However, if we send one of the trains to depot, then the platform will get free, and this train will be able to go through. So that's a, I'd say, small introduction to signals. I'm not really sure if there are any other stuff I could show you with this. Basically, to rebuild some of the things I'm doing there, or building. For example, if you have a main line and there's some other line connected to that, then what you want to do is put the entry signal on the lower priority rail, then make these two-way, so when the train gets like in there, this will show red, and then you have to put the exit per signal here and the yellow vertical box, the combo signal there. That's the like most used thing I do with per signals. I'm not sure if there's anything else. I mean, there are. Yeah, I also forgot to mention, when you are building a main line, for example, like we do here, you don't want to use path signals there because they eat up more memory and stuff, more of computer resources, and they basically function exactly the same as block signals, with the added benefit when there's a track splitting behind that, the signal is intelligent, and the trains are intelligent as well, so they will choose their own route. But yeah, I think that's it. There are also times, like for example when I do those splits, or I don't know what that's called. I usually just call it splitter. Let's say we have two rails in one direction. One is a main line, the other is it's like main line. There are times when you just wanna put a path signal there. So when the train goes here, by this time it will get to this split. It will decide whether there's any train going on this track, and it will change rail, or if it wants to just go straight. There are also, you can also do something like this, as we did here with the merge. For example, you want the train to change track only if there isn't any train next to it. So for example, if there are two trains going like here and here, both at the same time, same speed, you can do the per signal thing here. So that means the entry signal on the lower priority, where you want the trains to wait, but in this case we don't want them to wait, right? We just want them to change rails when this one is free. So this works as well. Just be careful when you are doing this. You really wanna give some space here for more signals, because if you do the priority merge here as well, the problem here is that if you put a pre-signal here, then well, this is the correct way, but if I want to build it wrong, then the problem is that this pre-signal will react to these. So for example, like this, we put the entry signal here, we put the two-way signals there. Now the problem is that anytime a train is... For this track it's not a problem, but for this track it will constantly show green because this signal will be green as well. So you don't really want that. You want at least one normal block signal in between that, so the pre-signal's effect will get negated by the block signal, and then you can just do the pre-signal combo here again. So yeah, I think that's all. Not really sure if there's anything else to show with this. I also forgot, if you are, as I said earlier, you really want to use the path signals here in front of the splits at the station. For example, we used it here at our center station. I mean, there's one per signal, there's the second, I mean this is path signal, there's another one, and there's the third one. So, and the trains will choose their own rail and they won't crash into one another. So yeah, I think that's all for this episode. Hopefully I explained it well. If not, check out the wiki, even though I think if you will try to experiment with it, it will give you much more. So I'm just gonna put these trains to depot now, and thank you for watching. Hopefully you will have a nice day and have fun with OpenTTD.